The effect of pocket size on how female students value garments. Pockets were commonly used in both men's and women's clothing for centuries, but today they are rare in women's clothes. When they are in women's clothes, the pockets are often too small to use, with the average depth of pockets in women's jeans being 5.6 inches compared to men's 9.1 inches. Many women have stated that they greatly appreciate usable pockets and that they feel excitement when finding a dress with pockets. For this reason, it is worth investigating whether they would be willing to pay more for a dress with pockets. Companies may have an incentive to put pockets in their clothes if they see that female customers think pockets add significant monetary value to the garments. The objective of this experiment was to support the idea that not only consumers but also companies would benefit by adding pockets to garments. I did this by first determining if women generally think garments with pockets have more monetary value than garments without pockets, and by determining if the size of the pockets affects this value. My alternative hypothesis was that the presence of the pockets in women's garments will significantly affect how female students value them. The assumptions were that the color, fabric, style, and length of the dresses would not have a significant effect on the proposed price values. Any errors made while sewing the dresses would not be noticeable in the videos and would therefore have no significant effect on the proposed price values. The quality of the videos would not significantly affect the price values. Participants would watch the full video and answer the survey questions truthfully. The randomly assigned volunteer participants would represent the population of female students under the age of 18. Differences in the participants' wealth and willingness to spend would not have a significant effect on the price values because they are randomly assigned to a dress. The materials used in this experiment were mainly used when sewing and creating the dresses. This included fabrics, a sewing pattern, which included a paper pattern and instructions, thread, zippers, scissors, a ruler, chalk, dressmaker's pins, sewing machine accessories, and human subjects. The equipment used were a sewing machine and iron when creating the dresses, an iPhone 11 used to record the videos, and a laptop used to create surveys and email participants. The facilities were the home of the student researcher, which is where the dresses were constructed and the data were analyzed, and the conference room at the high school, which is where the videos were recorded. The outline of the procedure was to first gather necessary materials, then sew dresses exactly alike, following instructions from the pattern. For one dress, add no pockets. For the second dress, add small pockets 5.6 inches deep. And for the third dress, add large pockets 9.1 inches deep. These pocket pieces should be modeled after the pocket piece from the pattern, but with the sizes adjusted according to the average sizes of pockets in women's and men's jeans, respectively. Next, create 3 surveys, each with 3 sections. Section 1 should collect the primary data to be analyzed in the experiment, which is quantitative data. This should be price values found based on the Gabor-Granger pricing model. Section 2 of the survey should collect qualitative data. There should be a question asking how various factors of the dress affected the participants' answers to Section 1. They should answer on a scale from extremely negatively to extremely positively about these factors, including the lack of or presence of pockets, depending on which survey, as well as color, fabric, style, and length, to avoid drawing attention to the pockets. Section 3 should also be collecting qualitative data via a free response question asking participants to elaborate on previous answers and allowing them to explain any other factors which influenced their responses. Next, record 3 videos describing each of the dresses. Use the same script for all 3 videos, except for the first dress, mention how there are no pockets. For the second video of the second dress, mention the small pockets, and for the third, mention the large pockets. Email each video and its corresponding survey to a unique group of randomly selected female student participants. Each participant should only receive 1 video and 1 survey and should not be made aware that there are others. Collect data for 2 weeks. The left 2 images show the pattern pieces drafted for the pockets used in the experiment. The right image shows a flowchart after which the Section 1 questions were modeled. The flowchart shows that each participant was first asked that they would buy the dress at $40. Based on their yes or no answer, they were redirected to a new price point. Each participant answered only 4 questions in the section, and the highest value at which a participant would buy the dress was entered as a data point. The possible results from the section included increments of 5 from $0 to $75. These are images of the 3 final dresses showing the difference in the pockets. The left dress had no pockets, the middle had small pockets, and the rightmost had large pockets. The raw data table shows the price values from Section 1 of the survey in dollars. The summative data table shows the mean, standard deviation, variance, and number of trials. It shows that there's a trend of a higher mean price value for the dresses with pockets, and also that there was a high standard deviation and variation. The trend of the higher mean can be shown by this graph, and these graphs show the high variation within each group. ANOVA was used to compare the data, which are the price values. Because the p-value of 0.4629 was greater than the alpha of 0.05, the data were not statistically significant, the research hypothesis was not supported, and the data do not support that the presence of the pockets in women's garments will significantly affect how female students value them. The qualitative data for sections 2 and 3 of the survey showed that the presence of pockets was, in fact, greatly appreciated by participants. These data also showed that the factors of the dress besides the pockets, including color, fabric, style, and length, did have an effect on the participants' responses to Section 1. To analyze the data from Section 2, the answers, ranging from externally negatively to externally positively, were converted to integers from -2 to 2. This table shows that for participants who saw the dress with no pockets, they answered that the lack of pockets negatively influenced their price value, and for the other participants who saw dresses with pockets, they answered that the presence of pockets positively influenced their price values. Though data about the other factors, color, fabric, style, and length, were only collected to avoid drawing attention to the pockets, these data show that these factors did in fact influence the price values. These factors very positively affected some price values and very negatively affected others. Such discrepancies could explain why the price values were so spread out within each dress. The responses to Section 3 also showed that pockets were greatly appreciated. Responses included, "As soon as I saw pockets, I was sold," and "I like the color and how it's styled, as well as the fact that it had pockets," and "The presence of pockets definitely influenced my decision because I think they are super convenient." Because these responses also mentioned other factors of the dress, these data show that the participants' different opinions did affect the price values. For example, two participants who saw the same dress commented, "I love the style and how the dress didn't sag," and "The fabric of the dress shown did seem a bit rigid." The quantitative data were not significant in this experiment, but the qualitative data gave some insight into possible reasons why not, which is that factors of the dress other than the pockets had a significant influence on the price values. Though the alternative hypothesis of the experiment was not supported, there are reasons to believe that the pockets affected the participants' opinions of the dress. Some plans for further study include using a different dress design and increasing a sample size, mainly to eliminate the effect of personal opinion. And another suggestion is to conduct the experiment with older female participants who are more likely to purchase their own clothes and therefore have more accurate ideas of pricing. This variation may produce results more indicative of the true monetary value of pockets.